Hello everybody, Ghostberry TV is back with another unlocking video. Today we're doing the A4 Skyhawk. Now, those of you who've been around for a while know the Skyhawk was probably one of the least used and least just favorited planes in the game. And then it received some buffs, and it was very powerful for a while, and then I think the last round of big updates knocked it back slightly, but it still seems to get a whole lot of use. I'm not really a big attacker person, but I decided, you know what, I'll give it a shot. It seems to be the attacker that is closest to being a fighter, so maybe I will end up liking it a lot, who knows. But I wanted you guys to be here for today's unlocking. Before we begin, I wanted to say thank you so much for watching my videos, and every like and sub really helps me out, and as I continue to grow, we continue to get towards that 750 mark for the free gold giveaway. So yeah, feel free to share this with your friends and help us get the 750 here. That's right, little buddy, thumbs up. Okay, let's unlock this bad boy. Well, first, before we unlock it, let's check out the stats so you guys can see that. 155 hit points, top speed 744, which isn't too surprising. It is an attack plane after all. The acceleration's actually pretty good overall. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's pretty good. Turn rate is 35 degrees per second, which isn't fantastic, but it's pretty solid actually for an attack plane. Especially, I mean, you can compare it to, there are, you know, heavy fighters and medium fighters and even light fighters that don't have 35. I think the Mirage 3 is like 34, for example. So it's actually pretty solid little turn rate on this thing. And 22 seconds of afterburner fuel, even though technically it doesn't have an afterburner. We all know what that means. The real key to this plane here is these internal precision cannons and the external cannons. So you'll notice the internal cannons seem very weak, but then you realize it's got both types of cannons on one bird. So 89 damage per second, very low spread, the overheat time over 5 seconds, and unlimited ammo, no armor piercing. It would be okay if it wasn't for that very low damage. But in reality, that's just backup to the real weapon here, which is the external assault cannon, 137 damage per second. So those two working in tandem, it's well over 200. Very low spread again, so nice and accurate. Overheat time over 5 seconds again, 600 rounds. So yeah, that's what really makes this thing kind of special, is being able to use both of those at once and just, you know, shred your enemies. You know, you're like a flying wood chipper here. Then you have 2 short-range infrared missiles, and these heat seekers are pretty standard across the board in terms of damage and speed and turn rate and everything. They look pretty normal. And then you got 16 of these rockets, which, you know, the specialty of most attack planes is being able to spam these rockets and your guns at the same time. So having 16 of these to do that with is nice. The speed's, you know, okay. The rate of fire is okay, you know. They're pretty solid. They're not the best rockets in the game, but they're solid. So yeah, overall, it's got a lot of things going for it. No one weapon on it is really surprising, but it's the fact that you can use several of these weapons together that will really help you mess some enemies up. And that's what we're here to do today. So remember to, in the comments below, feel free to let me know what you think of this plane, what you think of attackers in general. So yeah, little known fact for those of you who aren't maybe familiar, this plane was actually chosen to be the Blue Angels when it was in service. So hopefully one day we'll get a Blue Angel skin, but there is currently no Blue Angel skin on it. One of the things I like about this is the default paint on the aircraft is already a pretty cool one. I like it a lot. The Dam Buster here, inspired by the Navy's VFA 195 Strike Fighter Squadron. Then you have Boneyard, which comes on a lot of planes. Boneyard usually looks cool, but on this one I think it's a little bland. You know, there doesn't seem to be quite as much cool detail, making it look like it's actually, you know, scrap. the Black Knight, which I think is probably the best paint on it right now. Like I said, I hope one day they bring the Blue Angels paint to it, but until then, this might be the best paint on the aircraft. Just really cool looking, especially when you see that, you know, chest knight on the wing, or excuse me, on the tail there. It just looks really phenomenal. And then Empyrean, of course, and Erebus, your two mastery skins. Yeah, they look pretty solid on this. I actually think its regular paint schemes look even better. Yeah, I think we're just going to stick with the standard here, because I mean, it just looks good. Alright, we received a good luck, so it looks like on our very first match, we're going to have some real people flying around. Which is good. It'll be a better challenge than just bots. So we'll get to see this thing, you know, in real action here. I think maybe the move would be to go through the tunnel here. So it looks like even though that gun is a secondary weapon, I don't have to switch to it. I only have to switch to the missiles or rockets, so that's good. Which means I'll be able to... Yeah, I'll be able to, in theory, use my rockets and both sets of guns at the same time. In fact, let's see if we can take on the Frogfoot here. Got some damage on him. A lot of that missed. You'll have to forgive me, I'm bad with rockets. I'm not an attack plane professional. Alright, a nice double kill for us. I don't want that Frogfoot turning towards us. Yeah, we got over 100 damage in on that short burst on that A6, so that's nice. Reload. Get a couple nice assists. Trying to get around the A6. We will shred him to pieces. All right. Be the one to get the last kill? I don't know. Yeah, we were. Finish him off. We will take final kill. Do we pick up the MVP? We did not. Nindo will with 6 assists, but we got 6 kills and 3 assists, so we did not do bad. We got more kills outright than the MVP. That's pretty good. I'm not really strong with attack plane, so that's surprisingly good. Yeah, so overall, I'd say first impressions are pretty solid. It is an attack plane, so I don't see it ever becoming like my main go-to aircraft, but this is, like I said before, the attack plane that is closest to being a fighter, and it feels good to fly. So it'll probably end up being my favorite, or one of my favorite attack planes in the game. It's just very responsive, and it's got solid speed, and I like that, you know, unlike the A6, for example, when your cannon runs out, it's just your external cannon run out, you're never defenseless. You still have the internal. And yeah, the internals don't do a lot of damage, but it's better than nothing. There are a lot of times in the A6 where I've been kind of a sitting duck because of that. And it's also my problem, not even with attack planes, it's also my problem with the F-35. The F-35 also has very limited ammo, and you can just be kind of left in a very bad position because of it. This plane, you'll always have something. Looks like we're fighting the same group of people. And F4 is going to get around us. I think Avocado here might be a bot. We'll finish him off either way. Get the triple kill, and then we'll go for the reload. Up 9-4. That's pretty solid. Let's get a couple misses on this Phantom. There's the A6 from last match. The F4 was also a Blue Angels plane at one point. In fact, as far as I know, it's the only plane that was both a Blue Angel and a Thunderbird. That's fine, we'll take an assist. Yeah, the turn rate does remind you it's an attack plane for sure, but overall it's not the worst. Somebody else is going to get that last kill. We'll see where we placed, if we made podium or not. I don't think we did that well this match, but yeah. So Walleye there is going to take it. And we'll finish second again, 505. So not bad. I mean, it's not a terrible plane by any means. You're never going to hear me say I love an attack plane, but overall it's pretty solid, and it's, you know, I can see why it's been popular, especially in competition. We saw it in the Creators Cup, we saw it in MSI, and for a very good reason. You know, it's a well-balanced plane overall, and yeah, maybe you'll think about picking it up. If you do or you don't, let me know in the comments below what you think about it, and I will be glad to hear from you. As always, fly fast, fly hard, and I'll see you guys in the skies next time.